baby back ribs make everything better. So add a half rack to any entree for $5. Or get a baby back dinner for just $14.99 at Sonny's Barbecue. At Sonny's Barbecue.
Hey everybody, sorry about the delay. Always takes about 15 minutes more to get things running here than I expect it's going to, but I appreciate your patience, and hopefully everything holds together. We're trying a new camera card today because the old camera card was not working and continually was giving me crashes as I was getting into flight. So we're going to try something new. Magellan, I don't even remember who made the thing, but it basically allows this GoPro to talk to the laptop or to the computer. So we'll see what happens. Hi Thunderhawk. Hi Richard. Nice to see you. So today the game plan is to do a bunch of IFR approaches. I'm flying historical weather, not real world weather, because this is the new ORBX Oregon scenery, and I'm sure we'll want to see some of it. There's some clouds between here and the route that I'm planning to fly, but we would have been in IMC the whole time if we were running real world weather. So we're going to be doing things just a little bit differently than what we would have in the real world. And the plan is to fly from Medford, Oregon, up to Southwest Oregon Regional, which is at KOTH Bay, then fly and do an approach, go missed, then fly to Eugene, do an approach, go missed, and then fly to Portland and do an approach and land. So that's what we're going to try to do, as much time as I can manage to work into that, as much time as things hold together. So this will all be on Pilot Edge, in case anybody wants to follow along. And again, historical weather, so we'll see what we get as we get there. And one of the things I'm going to be curious to see is if, or I'm going to be curious about, is if the levels are right. I've been noticing the sound of the motor is a little too low in the stream, and I want to try to get it set so that it's a bit louder, and I'll be looking for some feedback from you guys on that. So we're running battery power here, so let's go ahead and get started. Fuel pump on, strobe would be on, feet on the brakes. And I'm going to be looking at the audio here in a second. Let's see if I can get my butt kicker to work. Let's try it. There we go. And let me just look here over on the streaming software real quick, see how those levels look on the audio. Those don't look too bad, do they? I don't think so. I might very quickly look at the sound settings here in X-Plane. Yeah, I've got them turned up as high as logo, so let me know how that sounds. Hey, Chaz, it's good to see you. Yeah, I'd be happy to test out the Pimax 5K Plus. I'll go find that email, and we'll make that happen. Okay, so levels are good. Glad to hear it. Okay, so let's go ahead and start getting ready. And this is going to be a long flight today. If we make all this happen by the time we shoot the approaches and go missed and the rest. Let's start here. We're at Medford. And let me make sure my traffic is turned on here for Pilot Edge. And it is. It's good. So Medford, our ASOS is 127.25. So I'm really hopeful that this camera card doesn't crash like the one I have been using does. I don't hear any weather there, do you guys? 25, huh? Wrong frequency.
Rogue Valley.
There we go. Maybe that X-plane's not giving me weather today. Oh, I'm running, it's because I'm not running real world weather. That's why. So, I guess I'm going to have to guess at what the weather is. I'll just get an altimeter from him. Let me check, see what the altimeter is in the sim real quick. I don't really know how to do that in X-plane when you're not running real world weather. Let's see, it's saying that it's 30.08. Okay. You can always just cross-reference against the altitude of the airport. Also, altitude is 1,335. That looks like about where we are. So that works out fine. I'm also going to very quickly just calibrate this screen here. It probably looks okay for you guys in terms of how it's rendering on the stream, but for me it's really washed out. It only takes a second for me to do this. Turn the GAM all the way down. There we go. That's better. For me, at least in the cockpit. Okay, well, we'll presume that we've got the weather then. And we've got ground on 121.8. And I just filed direct because we're not going very far. And most of the filing between Medford and Southwest Oregon Regional is direct. And tower's 119.4. Not a lot of people on Pilot Edge today, I was noticing. Just lean the airplane a little bit. And get our cockpit lights on. And I'll look at the chat real quick. What video tool was that? That, Chad, was just the default screen calibration tool that comes in Windows. All right. So we are 15 Julie Golf, SR20. We're going to be IFR to Southwest Oregon Regional. And we'll pick an approach when we get up there. I like using the real world weather when running on X-plane. It makes the ATIS experience a lot better, or on Pilot Edge, but again, we would have just been IFR all the way, so. Okay, let's see if this works. Get our craft ready to go here, and then we'll just pick up clearances as we go from place to place. For ground, Cirrus 15 Juliet Golf has Zulu. We're IFR to Southwest Oregon Regional.
Sorry, last calling was that 15 Juliet Golf at Medford? Really hard to hear you.
Affirmative, 15 Juliet Golf at Medford. How's this?
Yeah, I think your microphone is set to a different one than you normally use. You sound like you're across the room.
Okay, let me fix that. I'll come back. You gotta love how Windows likes to change things on you. Let's see what we got going on here with sound settings. Check, check, check. Okay, well, it's working well on the stream. So let's see what is happening here. Recording. Check, check, check. It says microphone is. Well, we know that works. Let's see how this sounds. It's not any worse there, right? You guys are hearing me okay? Check, check, check. Ah, I got it. Figured it out. The set device for some reason. Check, check, check. You guys are still hearing me there, right? Okay, that looks good. No, this should be better for our friend Marcus, Pilot Edge. Let's see. You know, you add a new device and all kinds of crazy stuff happens, right? Okay, I just want to make sure that I haven't lost you guys in terms of the levels. So how does it sound right now? Now it's overdriven. It should be better now, right? I took the volumes way back down. So if you guys online could give me a indication of how this is sounding now. Better? We're good? Okay. The more complicated things get, the more complicated things get. Let's try that again. Bedford ground, 15 Julie Golf. How's this?
Or 15 Julie Golf, much better.
All right, we're IFR to Southwest Oregon Regional.
And November 15 Julie Golf, Medford grounds clear to North Bend Airport, Jackson 1 departure to the Rogue Valley VOR, Victor 287, North Bend VOR, then direct. Climb and maintain 10,000, squawk 1750.
Okay, clear to North Bend, Jackson 1 departure, radar vectors to VOR. Marcus, what was that VOR before 287?
November 5 Julie Golf is Jackson 1 departure. It's pilot nav to the Rogue Valley VOR.
Rogue Valley, got it.
Echo Delta, Victor 287, North Bend VOR, then direct.
Yep, okay, Rogue Valley 287, North Bend, then VOR, then direct 10,000, squawk 1750, and any frequency there?
November 5 Julie Golf should be published on the Jackson departure procedure, Cascade 124.3.
Okay, got it, thanks, 15 Julie Golf. Okay, so that's a new
5 Julie Golf, read back correct.
That's a new departure procedure for me, so you know, you file direct and you end up with the Jackson 1 departure, and then Rogue Valley VOR, Victor 287, North Bend VOR, then direct. But that's okay. I can see that on the AFR route, and it's expected that that's what they would give us. I was just thinking we could keep it a bit more simple, but we'll plug that in, that's no problem. We'll pull up that departure chart here in a second. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Add that to our binder. And let's look at this departure, this SID that we have here. It is the Jackson 1 departure. Okay. Okay, Jackson 1 departure basically is to take off, and if we get runway 14, we're going to fly 143 to 1,800 feet, then climb right turn 322, and then on the OED radio 172 to the VOR. If we are on 32, we're going to climb out on 323, intercept OED radio 153 to the OED VOR. So we really won't plan this departure until we know what our departure runway is going to be, which we'll get from ground in a second. I could ask him. In fact, I'll go ahead and ask him now. Well, he'll give me the taxi. We can do that again. I don't need to bother him again. It's a straightforward departure. It's just a climb and a turn and then following the radial. I can tell you that we're going to be going to Rogue Valley one way or the other, so let's go ahead and put that in here on nav 1, 113.6. and then we'll see what radial they give us. We're in VLOC mode, which is where I'd want to be. And then with that departure, we can go ahead and put in our flight plan. Let's clear the last one that we had. And let's go first to OED. And then to OTH. And then I'll cross-fill this for you guys here in a second. And then to KOTH. Now, he gave us a Victor airway. This GNS 430 doesn't do Victor airways. So one thing you got to look for is to make sure that there's no bend in that between those two. And looking at the chart, it's pretty much just a straight radial. We could fly this with VOR navigation on the outbound 297 from Rogue Valley and the inbound on the 120 radial to North Bend. So that's fine. We don't need to do that because we're going to be flying with GPS. But sometimes Victor airways have turns in them, and so you need to find the waypoint of the turn and put it into the flight plan. We don't need to do that here. Okay, and then we can go ahead and make that direct 2, because that's where we'll be going next, and I can make that direct 2. And then it's always good to do a map check and make sure that things look the way they're supposed to look.
Boeing ground Skyhawk 50 Kilo Whiskey is at signature with Juliet ready for taxi VFR to the north.
My altimeter continues to reset for some reason, so I have to keep changing it back to 3008. And everything else is looking
Whiskey,
good. Let's
Boeing
just check
ground
the
runway 14 left, taxi via Alpha, Alpha 2.
checklist here for a second, make sure we're not
Alpha
missing
Alpha
anything.
2, runway 14 left, 50 Kilo Whiskey.
Is that sound from Pilot Edge too hot? It looks like it's too hot on my levels. If you guys could tell me about that, that'd be helpful. Because it looks like it's coming in quite hot, and I can adjust its volume pretty easily in the volume mixer. So let me know. Slightly loud, but not too bad. I can turn it down just a little bit. I want to get its mix dialed in to be right with the mix for the engine, because I want you guys to be able to hear the motor well. Okay, that's looking pretty good. We'll see how it comes through on the next transmission from him when we call ground. Okay, let's make sure we're not missing anything here. Lights, flaps are up. PFD, MFD is all set. We've got our ATIS clearance. Fuel selector. Let's go ahead and switch tanks to pump on. Switching over to the other side. Okay, let's go ahead and call for taxi. We'll see how his levels are when we do this. Make sure I've got that departure procedure handy and in my binder. There we go.
Boeing Tower Skyhawk 50 Kilo Whiskey is on Alpha 2, holding short 14 left, ready for departure.
Yeah, he's still pretty loud, isn't he?
Skyhawk 50 Kilo Whiskey, Boeing Tower, good afternoon. Departure. Way into 180 at 14 gust 20, runway 14 left, cleared for takeoff.
That's probably better. Does that sound
14
better?
left, cleared for takeoff, 50 Kilo Whiskey.
That's probably better for him there. Okay. Something else we have working is I still have the views out the right and left windows, so I'll show you guys that in a second here. But I've been working to get this configured, and it seems to be configured pretty well so far. Hey, I'm WC Dino. Thanks for tuning in. And I turned the pilot edge down about 20%. So we should be able to look out the right window. And we should be able to look out the left window.
Descend at pilot's discretion, maintain flight level 240.
We should be able to look out the front window. So we'll use that when we get out here and start flying over this ORBX scenery. Okay, I don't have everything else quite dialed in here. So transponder 1750, we'll get our frequency here on our SID.
Southwest 1, contact Los Angeles Center, 133.2, we'll see ya.
Cascade departure on 124.3. Okay, we've got that, 10,000 on departure, so we can go ahead and set that for what we want to get to. We're going to go high on this. We're going to go up and come right back down again. And let me get that set here. And then we'll dial in our heading here in a minute when we know what runway we're going to get. Okay, so we're bugged, we're loaded. We are ready to talk to these guys and get a taxi clearance. FR ground 15 Juliet Golf is at the GA ramp, and we are ready for taxi. Might be handing off controllers here.
15 Juliet Golf Medford, ground runway 14, taxi via Bravo 3 and Alpha.
Okay, 14 via Bravo, Tree, and Alpha, 15 Juliet Golf. Okay, so if we're departing on 14, that means that our SID is going to be climb on heading 143 to 1800, then a climbing right turn. So let's get our heading bug back down to 1800. And let's get our altitude, and let's get our heading bug set to 143. And then a climbing right turn to heading 322 to OED radial 172. Let's get that set. Now we're going to be, that's going to be on the 172. And then that'll be a 352 heading for us once we get there. Okay, so again, climbing turn 140, or heading 143, then to 1800, then climbing right turn to heading of 322 degrees and the 172 radial. Okay, that's all dialed in and ready to go. So he's expecting us to taxi. Let's go ahead and taxi. He said via Bravo 3 and Alpha. Okay, Bravo 3 is over here. Once again, my pedals have decided to become disconnected. So I just have to unplug them. Hold on one second. I'm going to switch you guys over here. Fortunately, I think I unplugged the wrong thing. So my radios might have all just stopped working. So we'll see how that goes. This is twice this happened where my left pedals didn't start up appropriately. So hopefully this is all still working. Let's see if I change that. I'm going to just reload. We're never going to get out of here, guys. I'm going to reload the radio driving program software here real quick. Yep. So one thing is you can't crash that stuff while you're trying to use it by unplugging it.
Number 2 Juliet, contact Seattle Center 126.6.
It doesn't want to load at all. Let's see if we can get it to work. Great. Sorry. It might be one of those days, guys. Some days we have this problem. Things just don't go the way we want them to. Alright, there it seems to be working. Let's see if this changes. Okay. Now this should... Yep.
122 Juliet Papa,
He's gonna
Seattle
be like,
Center,
"Are
good
you taxiing
afternoon. Seattle
anytime
altimeter
today?"
3007,
I
cross
don't know.
Jackson at and maintain
Let's see if this is working.
10,000.
Good Lord. I can only imagine what the chat is saying right now. Okay, by Bravo 3, I think that's up here. We're going to 1-4 by a Bravo 3 and Alpha. Okay, that's this way. So I want to go this way, this way. All right. Sorry for that torturous bit there, guys. And let me give you back out the front view window here. Thought I'd done that. There we go. How much is X-Plane and how much are the add-ons? Yeah, well, I can tell you the add-ons were more than the X-Plane. Okay, things seem to be going okay here. Yeah, I know. Windows always messes with my stuff. Yeah, search and research. I'm curious. This is 2 flights in a row now where it's happened, where I've been, and I have to put it in my checklist to check it before I go. So I'm interested to see this scenery. I haven't seen it before. I took a very brief flight, but then my camera card crashed a couple of days ago, and I haven't been back in the sim since then, so I'm interested to see how it all works. Get down here, we'll brief our departure, and then we'll get to it. Okay, we'll quick run up here to 1700. Everything loading on the batteries, everything looks good. Left, right, control checked, everything's good there. Bring her back. Okay. Standard takeoff, we're going to rotate at 65. If we're not going 50 knots by the time we're at Alpha 3, we're going to abort the takeoff. We are going to be landing straight ahead. If we lose engine out before 400 feet, 400 to 2,000 is caps immediately. 2,000 above, we'll reevaluate. We're going to fly now on heading 143, climbing to 1,800 feet. Then we're going to make a climbing right turn to 322, intercept the 172 radial, and continue our climb up to 10,000 feet. Tower is going to be 119.4, and departure is going to be 124.3. And we're ready to go. So, final takeoff. Trims are set. Flight instruments are set. PFD avionics are set. Takeoff departure has been briefed. Flaps 50. Fuel pump on. Landing light on. Mixture full rich. Lights as required. Doors locked. Time is in Zulu. Time is 2016. Okay, let me just check the chat real quick, make sure there's nothing else I need to pay attention to there before we're busy. Okay, everything looks good. Head for Tower 15 Juliet Golf, holding short 14 at Alpha 6, ready to go.
Cirrus 15 Juliet Golf, Medford Tower, wind calm, runway 14 cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff 15 Juliet Golf. No one coming, nobody downrange. Okay, we're on the center line, flaps 50, controls are good, full power. Off the brakes, RPMs as expected. Engine instruments are in the green. Airspeed's alive, on the center line. Okay, we're 50 by 50, good to go. Takeoff point. Get up to 86. Flaps coming up. Okay, let's climb at 96. Feet, climbing right turn to 372.
Number 5 Juliet Golf, contact Cascade departure.
Okay, going to Cascade departure, 15 Juliet Golf. It can't be 372, it's 322. Cascade departure, Cirrus 15 Juliet Golf, 2,200 on the Jackson 1.
Cirrus 15 Juliet Golf, Cascade departure at our contact Medford altimeter 3024, climb and maintain 10,000.
Okay, climb and maintain 10,000, and I'm running Zulu, just so you know, on the altimeter.
Roger.
Okay, up to 10,000 we go. About 96, that's VY in this airplane. And we're going to fly till we intercept that radial. Let's take a look at the scenery. This side. And out the front. Looks pretty good. I'm impressed with ORBX for sure, what they do. I had been waiting for a long time for ORBX to come to X-Plane. I was happy when that happened. And in particular, the tree placement is great. Now, I'm presuming from looking at this that this is in the scenery that they've got. It sure looks like it in terms of how trees are really where they should be. If we look out this window, then you can see the trees following the little creek down there. You can fly cross controlled here so you can see. That tree placement is really nice. Okay, and there goes our altimeter 3 resetting again. All right, so we're on our way. Let's start thinking about what approach we're going to want to fly when we're out there. By the way, here comes our radial. We're going to fly heading at 352 once we intercept that radial, so let's get ready to do that. See one coming in here. If I were to zoom this in here, you can see now that I can just take this direct to OED. There we go. All right. So there's the outer marker for one of the approaches. Okay, so we are going to first of all stay on our radial, although we're getting quite close. So here in a minute, we're going to take off and go to RNAV, go to GPS, I mean. Go ahead and do that now. And for my next heading, it's going to be about 297. So it'll tell us that in just a second. We'll switch over here and go to OTH. Now. And a bearing of about 302. Pretty soon here we're going to be asked for an approach, so let's get ready to tell them what that's going to be. There goes our barometer again, resetting. It's something about the radio equipment that does that, this stuff. haven't figured out what it is yet. Always something to figure out. Okay, we can start leaning the airplane because we're pretty high here. We'll lean it, look at our power percentage here. Go 82%, that'd be max climb for us right now. Okay, and we're on our way to North Bend. So when we get to North Bend, you have 14, let's see, they've got 190 is what they're showing. I'll take whatever runway he gives me, even though we've got our own weather, because I think the winds are pretty calm. So if we're looking at approaches, we want to shoot a couple different approaches. And there they have just runway 4. That's their ILS. Oops, got a little aileron imbalance there, don't I? Get my trim going. While we're doing that, we'll take a look out the window here. Okay, so runway 4. Uh-oh. Oh, came back. Good. Oh, there it goes again. I wonder what that's about. Oh, came back. Oh, goes out again. Came back. I don't know what's going on with that. Intermittent. Let's see if it keeps up. No, we've got COM 2. Okay, so if we're thinking approaches, we'll see what they're landing. If they're landing 1-3, we'll go circle the land anyway. So we could do the, I mean, we could shoot the ILS. That'd be a start. Start with an ILS, and then shoot an RNAV, and then maybe shoot a VOR. Let's ask for the ILS runway 4. That's what we'll request. Okay, we've got 1,500 feet to go. Get back on course here. Look, climb checklist, make sure it's set, fuel pump, airspeed, flaps are up, engine set, trim is set, power level for cruise. We'll get to cruise in a second. We'll get up to 10,000. We've got a little bit of clouds coming up over there. Looks good. Clouds are always nice. Second here, I'll have a chance to look at the chat. So we get into cruise, we got 800 feet to go. Yes, Oregon True Earth, that's exactly right. Okay, 600 feet. How is that plane on FPS? No difference that I can tell. I can tell you what I am running. I'm running 27 frames right now. That's because the visibility is distant, and that's fine for me. I use the 3J FPS wizard to help with that, but I don't find that this, the thing about this Cirrus model is it's a bit older, so I don't think it's
3258 Denver clearance, clear to Phoenix Airport.
Full view out this way.
Silver 4 departure, day then as filed. Climb via the SID. Departure frequency 126.1, squawk 5060.
Okay, coming up to 1,000 feet. Now we are at 75% power, so we're not going to power back at all. We're just going to level out. Get some forward trim. nav mode.
Southwest 3258, read back correct.
And get our autopilot to work.
Southwest 3258, read back correct.
And I should be able to get this to take us down. There we go, to 10,000. I haven't quite figured out how to get this thing to work yet. I know how to work it though. We'll just just had to reset it from 10,000. Now it's going. Oh, it was going for a second. Let's see what it tries to do. It works about as well as the STEC-55 in the real world too. Maybe it needs me to set the barometer. It doesn't like me to set the barometer. Well, we're close enough. Yeah, obviously it thinks I'm high. Alright, well, we'll just take it down to 900, 9,900 and leave it there.
Cirrus 15, Juliet Golf, contact Seattle Center 121.4.
Okay, go to Seattle 121.4, 15 Juliet. Seattle Center, Cirrus 15 Juliet Golf is 10,000. Okay, fuel pump off.
15 Juliet Golf, Seattle Center, roger.
Make sure it's leaned. Best performance fuel balance is monitored. And it's been about 25 minutes, so let's get switch it over again. Fuel pump on. Switch it over. Turn on our 30-minute timer up here. Back before flight. And we're in cruise. And the autopilot is flying the airplane. Okay, let's see what we have here. Yeah, well, I mean, if you're expecting it to run just like the real thing runs, I mean, if the problem is that this plane models an STEC-55 and that models a King, whatever, 150, whatever it is, and I mean, it works very well enough, but it's a little confusing. It does do heading to nav mode, so I can hold down heading and hit nav, and it'll fly the heading bug until it intercepts either the radial or the GPS track, which is good. It doesn't do the same thing with altitude changes. The easiest thing to do is just get to the altitude you want and hit the altitude button arm and hold it at that altitude. Okay, so we're on our way. We are if we look at the IFR chart here, we've got an MEA of 8,500 feet. We went up to 10,000 because 8,000. It's 8,000 a lot of the way, but between the next waypoint, which is Kohler, and Camus, it's 8,500 on Victor 287. So we're going to go ahead and fly up to that, and we're at 10,000, and we'll cruise along. Now, when we get to North Bend is touchdown elevation 16 feet, so we're going to have to drop 10,000 feet. He'll be able to bring us down to 5,500 once we get to Camus. Then he'll be able to bring us down to 4,000, so by the time he routes us into the approach, it just changed again. And we just lost that primary nav for some reason. good. I was curious because I don't think I'm losing the screen, so I'm not quite sure what that's about. I don't know if it's a window issue with the window in X-Plane, or what that's about. I'm always hesitant to start messing around with windows because they tend to do weird things when you mess with them. But we'll see. How did I get the compass? Review before flight. Good to see you. How did I get the compass on the F5P? Up here? It's a compass, wet compass that you can get from Tom Tsui, T-S-U-I. He's from China, Hong Kong, I believe, and he does a great job. These are all gauges of his, in fact, and I think his stuff is great, and they're easy to use. Also, just so you guys know, now if I lose that for good, it's going to make shooting my approach challenging. So I'm curious as to why that's happening. Let me see if I drag this. Over to another window. See if it keeps doing it. Put it over here and see if it keeps blanking out or not. We'll see what that's about. So Tom makes great gauges, FIPs, that I think work really, really well. And if you use FIPs, and he sells them for $10 a piece, and they're quite good. Okay, we are 20 minutes from North Bend, so pretty soon here we'll want to get the weather. That's 135.075. I haven't seen this click over since. It doesn't seem to be doing it on this monitor. Drag it back. See if I continue to have that challenge. Tom Tsui. FSX Times is his website, FSX Times, and he does a great job. His FIPs are great, and he makes a bunch of different types, and I've been very satisfied with them. Now, I've had a development. People who have followed the sim for a while know that I typically have used SPAD Next, and one of the things I used it for was to translate the FIPs so that they would work in X-Plane. I don't use SPAD Next anymore. I've ditched it. I found it was just causing too much problems for me. It put a big load on my PC, and I've lost a little bit of functionality with it, but the fact of the matter is Tom now makes native X-Plane devices. Where that goes again. Or if it's just a connection issue. Let's see. And his devices work great, so I've had no problem with these. I think they're easy. You can scroll through different devices that you want to be on each FIP. So he's got different versions of this. Wet compass. That's one with an annunciator. It tells me left fuel and right because it doesn't read the fuel correctly from the Cirrus, but I'm very pleased. FSX Times. He's got a bunch of them for a bunch of different aircraft. All right, let's go ahead and brief this approach while we're at it, since things are quiet. This is the ILS or localizer runway 4 into North Bend, Oregon. The chart is current. All right, AWOS is 135.075. We'll get that in a few minutes. We've got that here. Seattle Center is 127.55. We'll probably get handed off to them. We'll have North Bend Tower and the rest when we're ready. Our localizer frequency is going to be 108.5. Let's go ahead and dial that in now. Pardon me, final approach course is going to be 046. We'll probably get vectors, so we're not going to mess with our heading book quite yet. We're going to set the glide slope at LOM. That's going to be 865 feet. Our decision altitude here, ILS decision altitude, is going to be 216. That's conditional on having full lighting. We're landing in the daytime, so it doesn't matter. So for us, it's going to be 216 feet with a visibility of a half mile. It shouldn't be any problem today. If we look at the weather that I've got in the sim, in real world, that would be a problem today. We'd be okay on the decision altitude because ceiling's there in the real world right now, about 800 feet. Nonetheless, our MSA on the way in from that 310 radial, we're coming in on a, for us, our MSC is going to be 4,300 feet, within 30 miles of LOM. And LOM is our final approach fix. Missed approach, we're going to go missed, so we're going to climb to 600 feet, then a climbing left turn to 2,300 direct. OT, LOM, and then hold. Okay, so they want us to go to that outer marker. They want us to hold there. So that's fine, so we'll fly a hold and come up in that direction. It's going to be a left-hand turn, hold. We're going to be making a parallel entry into that hold. We'll fly one lap in the hold and then we'll ask to go to Eugene. That'll all be loaded there. I don't see why he won't give us this, so let's go ahead and get the procedure loaded in. And we'll ask for it from, do we want to fly the ARC? Yeah, we can fly the ARC. I'll have the GPS fly it, but we could have it fly the DME ARC. Okay. Are there any other initial approach fix here? Nope. Okay, so we'll fly it from, well, that's going to take us way out of our way, though, so we'll ask for vectors. I'm going to go ahead and say that it's from Lupski. That gives us the entire approach fix, in case that's what he gives to us, but we are going to probably get vectors here just to save some time. Check on that. Yep, that's correct. Well, we can find a Lupsi, that's fine. By that DMER. Otherwise, he's going to give the vectors up and then over, or we can come in and fly the procedure turn from least. We'll see what he says. Let's do this. We'll take whatever he gives us. Okay, so